What's up, what's up? Let's do the microphone check. Microphone checker. And both Twitch and YouTube are okay. Okay, good to know. Good to know, good to know. I want to go here. I want to click this. Yeah, I think we are okay. What's up, guys? I'm Ada. I'm a professional game developer, been so for almost 10 years, and I'm a little bit sick right now. Give me a second. I forgot one thing. Yeah. I forgot to close the door to my bedroom. I am streaming, but I am streaming like that. If you catch my drift. So, yeah, I'm a little bit sick at the end of the sickness. Usually that's what autumn means to me. So many people love autumn because, you know, pretty colors, especially here in Poland. Pretty leaves, etc. It is a pumpkin period, right? It's just before Halloween, spooky season and shit, and for me it usually means it's a sickness season. It means I will be constantly under the weather, having runny nose, etc., etc., from here till May probably. So I'm not that very fond of that type of deal, but I'm very fond of having a hot tea, doing some game development, playing some video games. Etc, etc. Let me take my medicine. Octaangin. The best thing for the goddamn throat that they created. Yeah. So today will be another stream connected to game design. It is a long running series so far. 9 parts of it. If we count, you know, the thing that I used to call fat streams, there are even more parts of that. Basically, I am trying to learn how to be a designer a little bit more, because I'm not. I'm a gameplay programmer. But you might think, hey, those two things have so much in common. It should be a given that a good gameplay programmer is a good game designer. Maybe it is, maybe it is not. All I know is that it is my blind spot. I'm not that great at designing primary actions and balancing them and making sure that they are fun. I have full notebooks. Notebooks full of game design ideas. Google Docs, shitload of Google Docs that consists of, you know, gameplay ideas, etc. But all of them had one weakness. They are only describing either surface level interactions or meta level interactions or plot or storyline or characters. None of them delve deep into how the game actually plays. So whenever I sat down to even start a prototype of a given game, I had, like, for example, 10 pages of ideas of how the game should function, etc. None of them actually had anything about how the game plays in the most basic primary action sense of things. For example, let's say that we are creating Mario, right? What should we... or a platformer, just a platformer. Inspired by Mario and Donkey Kong Country. What is the most primary thing that you do in a platformer, right? It's not management of company. It's not any strategy. It's not any cards. It's moving left and right, jumping, And just that basic act of moving around and jumping determines whether the platformer is even something that you would be interacting it with, or you'll be going straight to refund on Steam, right? If you buy a platformer, start moving left and right, jumping, and it feels awful, you might give it additional 15 minutes if you are super patient. If you are super patient, just to see maybe this platformer is not about platforming, maybe there is something else to it. But more likely than not, you will refund this because it isn't a good platformer if the basic primary action of jumping around and moving around sucks. For first-person shooters, of course, it's shooting. If I launched Apex Legends and started shooting in the air or at the wall and I would not have fun, then no one would be playing this game. If the same thing happened in Half-Life, Counter-Strike, Doom, Call of Duty, if the basic act of just shooting isn't fine, it will not do its mission, right? And that's what I suck at, coming up with something that doesn't really, I cannot just copy. I have to design on my own. Suddenly it's like, shit, how do I design a basic interaction for it to be fun? How do I do this, right? And the answer is you go about it hard way. You're trying to come up with a game or a game context that basically allows you to train your muscle a little bit in the vacuum, and you're not trying to just copy other games and tweak just one thing. That's what happens in the professional development when you are making a game that is supposed to compete with another game. You are, looking up to the whole genre of things, and you are taking what's standard in the genre of things, and then you twist it. But in order to do it in any way, shape, or form that makes sense, you need to understand why certain decisions came to be and why do they work on even psychological level for the player, right? This is the only way you are able to really twist anything, to remix anything, to offer something new within a given genre, if you understand the backbone of it. And you are able to offer something that hasn't been done with that genre, right? But without going to the basics and trying to come up with something new and training your muscle, kind of like Son Goku did, you will come up short real quick. I like how it was called in a book called Theory of Fun, Designeritis, I think. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. That if you are only analyzing design patterns of other games and you never try to do something on your own, you'll always only repeat what you saw. You won't be able to step out of the comfort zone. And I want to learn how to step out of the comfort zone. So I came up with the master plan. And I'm the man with the master plan of how to learn this shit. I created a simple game context of a game when you're just shooting arrows from a bow. Everything is placeholdery. Everything looks like shit, and it's supposed to. I don't want to waste my time with art assets, with art style, or anything like this. Pure game design. If the game isn't fun in its most basic bare-bone prototype, good assets won't save it, and good art style, really. If it plays like shit, but looks pretty, it's still a shitty game, but it looks pretty. The only thing that will happen is that the people that would create the graphics for the game will probably be poached by another company. So, I created a simple game context of a game when you shoot arrows from a bow, and even though I'm using first-person perspective template from Unreal Engine 5.4, This game is not a FPS. It's not fast-paced. It's not about killing all the enemies. It's not movement-based. And it's not an archery simulation. Even though it does test the player with his aiming and capability of predicting the projectile trajectory. It's not archery simulation, really. It's supposed to be more arcadey, more slower. Arrow changes the world state. By that I mean, you know, how Mario and Donkey Kong are changing the state of the world they are running in. They are jumping on things, right? Jumping on things, or in the case of Mario Odyssey, using their little cap, right? Here I want arrows, the act of shooting arrow, to be the thing that changes the world state. It would be lovely to have a co-op within this game context, although I'm not super hard on it. But it is fun to play games in co-op. And I divided this whole exercise in four phases, really. It's MVP, toy making, sequence making, and scenario making. And let's quickly get through that and get into the Unreal. MVP means minimum viable product, which means the most basic thing that you can do in the game has to be fun. If it's not fun, you're not even going further. You have to make the most basic thing fun. Just as I said, in platformer that is attempting to compete with Mario and Donkey Kong, it's the act of moving around and jumping. In shooters, it's the act of shooting. Ah, shit. Sorry guys, I need to blow my nose real quick. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for that. I'm still a little bit sick. Okay, so MVP in the shooter, it will be just, you know, is shooting fun. And the hack and slash game is hacking and slashing fun. If it's not, you cannot go into any more design, right? So I had to answer these questions. Is it fun to shoot in the air, at the wall, at the stationary target, and at the moving target from various distances? I've managed to overcome this. I learned a couple of lessons. What I assumed to be easy turned out to be hard. What I assumed to be hard turned out to be super easy. But I was able to answer these questions, create a couple of simple mechanics. Basically, the longer you hold your shoot button, the more you charge your bow. It flies in the air. I balanced it, so I know exactly at which distance what I expect of you as a player. It is kind of fun. I already implemented basic feedback with some placeholdery particle effects, sounds, etc., etc. So I passed the MVP phase and I went to toy making phase. That's where I'm at right now. When I'm treating this whole game as a toy box, I am just creating shitload of mechanics and dumping it into a toy box. And just as I would for the kid, I would be buying toys and observe how is he playing with those toys. Is he just playing with one toy and that's it? Or is the kid playing out and acting out some sequences with the toys, right? And I'll be asking myself the question, do I have enough toys to formulate a basic sequence of events? If the answer is yes, I will jump into sequence making, when I'll be tasking players with some kind of quest, with some kind of challenge that isn't just about, hey, let me shoot this toy, oh, it works, okay, that's it. A little bit longer sequence. The example here is, I could just make you shoot through the hoops, right? Or I can ask you to destroy the wall in front of you. But to destroy the wall in front of you, you had to shoot through flame, and the arrow will catch flame. Then this arrow has to go attach itself to a bomb, igniting its trigger mechanism. And then with the bomb attached to the end of this flaming arrow, stick to the wall. 3, 2, 1, boom! Whole wall exploded. This is way more involved and way more fun than just shooting through hoops. And if I will be able to say, yes, I can craft the whole scenario, I will go into scenario making, which basically means let's craft the whole level. Let's craft the whole fucking level and see if I can make the level. And then I will be, you know, inviting one of my friends that already raised hand when I asked, hey, who will want to play the final prototype of this shit? He said that, yes, I will come to your house and I will play, I'll give you feedback. And I will be receiving feedback from him. And if the feedback will be like, okay, this game is shitty, it has shitty art, it's not balanced very well, but I had some fun in it, I will be able to ask myself a question. Do I have enough to start the pre-production of this game? And if the answer would be yes, that's where the whole exercise ends. If the feedback will be, I don't see the point of this game, I don't know what the fuck am I doing, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, nothing makes sense, then I have to go back to the drawing board and recraft this scenario again, iterate on it, until it makes sense, even with placeholder assets, right? That's the master plan of stretching our muscles as designers. So what do I have going on for me right now? Right now, last stream, I implemented a funny mode of transportation where I can just launch myself from a bow. This is my placeholder bow. It looks like a gun, but it's not a gun. And I can just aim at someplace and just boo, launch myself in that direction. I implemented some basic feedback of seeing your character on screen. That's the first thing. So I am swapping my camera to follow my guy. And I should probably lower the volume on my speakers. And I also implemented some basic sound feedback. The higher we are, the more higher the filter frequency and the noise is. The closer to the ground we are, the more low hum the noise becomes. And when we land, of course, there's a big explosion happening, and a little blend of camera to show you that yes, you were this guy. Boom. As not to disorient you. And also, it would be really shitty to ask of a player to decide where they are going without being able to preview where you are going. So I added this easy laser prototype. Easy laser Niagara pointer. I need to right now work a little bit on it, because obviously it doesn't match my trajectory of flight. But it is a very funny mode of transportation. The idea here being that the final level most probably will be more like this open area, right? Think more Mario 64 levels, less just, you know, one level, one task and onto the next one. Where if you are finished with some challenges, let's say for example we are here, we did some challenges here and we want to move somewhere next, I will just go like, I want to go there. Boo! And boom, you're there. I don't know yet what will be the distance between challenge points. I just don't know it. So I'm not rebalancing it. But I just know that it would be faster than running. And also I am still using the theme of launching myself, of using bow and arrow. But this time I'm becoming the arrow. Yeah. So that's the thing. And let's maybe open up some blueprints and let's work out. I want my Niagara laser pointer to correctly show the trajectory of my projectile. Because right now it's not showing it correctly. So let's go into primary action, to blueprints. The way I divided it right now is that different bows are shooting different projectiles. So I have this BP catapult bow component, and that's where the magic happens. I also have other types of shoots, I would say. I will show them later. But right now let's concentrate on this. Here is the aiming, here's the launch projectile. Okay. This note is kind of invalid because if I don't cast it, then I have the compilation error. So whatever. Calculate projectile local vector, set velocity in local space when projectile launched. Yes, looks about right. This is the bow chart. I want to go to catapult bow. What the hell am I doing? Aim stat. And this projectile here. And here's the update of the Niagara system on the tick event. Whenever I'm aiming, that's where I'm actually setting the vector array for the projectile. Okay, so 0.01, this is my launch velocity projectile. It should be the same. It should be exactly the same. So why it's not really showing the correct values? That is very freaking interesting. Let's look at it once again. I am launching projectile with 0.01, set velocity in local space on projectile launch. Yeah, because the thing is, if I swap out right now here my projectile class into something else, like for example my bouncy arrow, it will be matching. As you can see, my projectile lands exactly where I'm aiming, right? and then it bounces off on the surface forward. But when I'm launching myself, it's not matching. I'm going way further. Yeah. And I do wonder why. I do really wonder why, even though we are using the exact same parameters. Oh yeah, housekeeping note, I'm not sure if I'll be able to stream for the whole full 4 hours. I predict it will be hard. Charge duration 0.01. The launch velocity is correct. Transform direction node shouldn't change the length of my vector, which means exactly what I want. Not really sure why it's that. I'm launching it with the exact same parameters. It only changes dependent on what projectile I am launching. So it has to mean that there's something wrong with my teleport projectile. Okay, let's go. Teleport arrow. Show me my projectile movement. Initial speed, max speed. Do I have some air drag or something like this? Not really. I have 3000 velocity, and let's turn on the bouncy arrow. Open full blueprint, show me the projectile movement, and let's compare it. One to the other one. Let's just compare the settings on projectile movement. Gravity scale is the same. Only should bounce is different. Simulation enabled. All of this is exactly the same. So it's not on the projectile movement component that there is a change. What the flying fuck? Oh my god, I'm feeling so much low energy today because of sickness. Look out, people. Take care of yourself. All right, let's turn on the mic on again. This is a friction force sliding along a surface, but I don't have air drag or anything like that. Gravity scale is the same. So why the fuck my guy would launch way further than the regular guy? I am not sure about this. Why my teleport arrow, the character arrow to call it, launches way further than the regular arrow. It doesn't make a lick of sense right now. Wow. The only thing that is different here is that it has a skeletal mesh and camera attached to it. But skeletal mesh should have collisions off. Right? Yep, no collision. And it shouldn't simulate physics. Yep. Enable gravity on skeletal mesh, but I don't simulate physics, so it doesn't make sense. It would only make sense if I clicked true on that. Oh my god. Maybe I shouldn't have been streaming today. I might cut the stream short, a little bit shorter, because I just don't feel well. Okay, let's get back to it with this. Let's maybe print our velocity value when we are launching one thing and when we are launching another. Maybe I work under the bad assumption that it isn't launched with the same velocity. Yeah, let's print out the launch value. We'll see if there's some fuckery going on. Launch projectile and print this shit out. Let's change the color of this because I already have some prints going on. Yeah. Let's see what kind of values do we have here. 7,500. Okay. $7,500 consistently. Okay, what happens when I change it into regular bouncy arrow? It is 7,500 as well. Then I don't get it. Yeah, and I overshot it. You see? I should, just for the testing purposes, put a box in here. Or maybe sphere or whatever. Yeah, put it like somewhere. And I will aim at it and see if I will teleport near it. Or will I go overboard? And let's just turn off all the collisions and shit. No collision. Yes. Yeah, I can save this level. Shooting range and movement range. Let's call it that. Yeah, no, I didn't overshoot it. I am actually in the correct. What? Then why is it so wonky? I'm aiming at the sphere. I overshot it just a tad bit. What is going on over there? Yeah, it doesn't have a collision, so I would go through it. But it actually looks like I'm aiming correctly. It just looks weird when I'm flying over the Niagara. Is not. I kinda don't get it. Yeah, let's aim right now. Here. I landed in front of the sphere like I wanted to. So it's correct? It just looks weird in the camera? When I'm swapping cameras? Yeah, I should land right in front of the sphere. There's something freaky going on in here. That's what GameDev is sometimes, kids. You are just spending your whole day on trying to figure out if something is working right or not. Or why do you have this feeling of it not working right even though the test proves that it is working right. I landed exactly what I wanted it to. But if I aim very far, it looks like I overshot it by way much. Even though I didn't. It's right where I wanted it to be. It just looks weird. When I start to move, it looks like my Niagara path is so short. Something weird is going on, but our test indicates that it's working correctly. It just looks weird. As if I am overshooting, well, I'm not overshooting actually. Like right now, I am aiming at near the sphere, right? And that's exactly where I landed. A little bit closer to it, but still within the ballpark. Yeah. Okay. It looks freaking weird, but it works. Not the result I expected. We can turn off our debug. All right. The next thing that I kind of wanted sorta to implement is being able to move your camera while you are shooting this, or you are launching yourself out of the bow, and maybe a little bit of air control, possibility of, you know, affecting your movement a little bit. Although I feel so under the weather that I'm just also considering just turning on Steam and maybe playing some video game instead. So it might turn into chill stream a little bit. I'm pondering my options. Nah, I think I will just cut the stream shortly a little bit. Cut the stream a little bit short today and continue with the development. Yeah, so let's do this. First of all, camera control. The camera control right now is just realized through our BP character, which if we go into world settings, we can quickly rediscover what it is. It is the first person character and the first person controller. Let's launch both. Here's where begin play happens and where default control scheme is being used. And here is the regular pawn class that has camera in it. And here's where add controller yaw input and pitch input happens. Here's where movement input happens, and here's where jump happens. What I want to do, is that the thing that I want to do right now? Yeah, because what I need to do is to, when we have shot the, when we launched ourselves from bow in this prototype, I just want to transfer those controls or send them over, pass them over to my teleport arrow and affect the camera position. Move it up and down, etc., etc. Rotate it, basically. Because the way it would be working really is just, let's remember those, -40. Would be doing this with the camera. Let's get back to -40. And we would be doing this with the camera, affecting this axis and this axis, really. So, how to do it correctly? And the other thing I could be doing instead of that is just easier swapping out bows, but this will be boring, so maybe we'll do this next time. We'll concentrate on the harder thing, how to pass those inputs, you know, further down the road. How to pass yaw and pitch input here. We are in first person character. First we can that's the thing, if it was a real game and I would be working with C++ and gameplay ability systems, lots of this stuff would be handled by ability code. So what I'm about to do right now is a little hacky. It's 100% hacky, 500% hacky, and million times percent shitty. But it's just a prototype. Because the thing is, right now, first person character have no idea that catapult bow exists and that it has some reference to current teleport arrow. So what I would do here is I would create two events, custom event let's call it add yaw input or process yaw input, because right now we are hacking a prototype, so it's okay. For the actual production of a game it would not be okay, but I still want to hack it in such a way that I won't end up with such spaghetti that 2 streams down the road I won't be able to untangle it. I still have to think about a little bit how to hack it in a pretty way. process pitch input, custom event, of course, custom event, process pitch input. Yeah. So we have it. Right now we can just print string stuff here. And we can maybe turn off the debug prints that we have right now in our bow component. Although I don't see those debug prints. Where are those debug prints that are happening on screen, on camera, when I'm shooting? Ah, yes, these are in teleport arrow, of course. I don't want to print string anymore. This, I don't need that. I also don't need that. And I think that's all. Debug prints. So we cleaned up. No, it's not all. Collision off. Something is calling collision off, but I don't know what. Is it here? Is it here? No, no. No. Print string. Print string. There's only one here. Okay. And here? Print string. No. That's not the one that is being called. No. Is it here? I have no idea what is calling collision of print string. Not good, not good, ladies and gentlemen, not good. Ah, whatever, I will chase it later. Let's do this and process your input. Just to see if we are calling it correctly. Process pitch input. This is something that will happen here. We need to get access to catapult bow or just send events down the road. So let's just do this. First person character. We have begin play here. Yeah, let's quickly save this. Promote to variable. Current bow component. But the thing is, I want this to be BP bow component. The base class, BP bow component. Thank you. You will suffice. You will be able to do this. Thanks to inheritance. Okay. And right now I can do this. Firstly, check if this shit is valid. And if it is valid, I can quickly casting on every mouse movement is some evil sin. Because what I wanted to do here is cast to BP catapult bow component. But I think it's a very, very, very bad fucking thing. To cast on every movement on every look input. It is something evil. So instead of doing this, I will take my events and put them in base class, and I will be able to override them here via this and via this, right? And that way I don't have to do anything more than just check if the component exists. So now I can just get it, call process yaw input, and one other thing, I need to values, action value x, which is yaw, where the hell is this? Here it is. What the hell? Wait, I distinctly remember that I was able to add some event on projectile launched. Ah, yes, you need to compile it, of course. I am an idiot. And yes, I have to do it here. Of course, to add input. Of course, of course, of course. That is your input value, and it is float. And here it is pitch input value. And yaw should be above pitch. And now we're talking. And just to see if it is working out, we will do this. We will copy that shit over here also. Process pitch input. And let's connect all of the dots. And this is your input, so here. Let's just pass these values along. And this is pitch input, yes. Let me quickly check something. Okay, everything is all right. Let's see if it works. No, it's not. Ah, yes, it does work, but I have to just copy it here. Yep, and it is working just fine. So now in my catapult bow, the one that is used to launch our character, I need to use this input to rotate our camera and our arrow. So what happens here is also get is valid. And now I need to pass these inputs to the teleport arrow. It is passed through. But whatever, custom event process yo input, right? And another custom event process pitch input. Yeah, input value. You just need to pass it through. Pass it through, pass it through. Process pitch input. Pitch input value. Yep. And to see if that shit is working out, we'll add print strings here. We can just do it like this. And now we will just process your input. So we are passing along the value from the player character to our arrow. The same thing we'll be doing for a little bit of air control. We are assigning this, but instead of calling process your input, it will be process pitch input. Let's get on with this, right? Oh my god. So much lack of energy because of sickness. God damn. Yep. And yeah, now let's see if we'll have a print while we are shooting. We do. We have input on the side of teleporting arrow or catapult arrow, or however we want to call it. Yes. So we can turn off these and we can start accumulating our camera it doesn't have pitch and yaw. Okay, so set world rotation, or no, actually add local rotation. That's what I wanted. And I always forget roll pitch. Yes, the pitch is and yaw is the last one, right? Yeah, I'm always forgetting that shit. So split struct pin, we just do this, and this is yaw, so we connect it to yaw. And this is pitch, so we connect it to pitch. And let's see how fucked up it is, because whoa, these controls are fucking wild. There is something completely wrong with it because it's inverted. I'm moving up, down, right, left. Okay, so when it comes to, as I said, this middle, right? I need to invert them. -40. A little bit. So pitch control. Let's subtract from 0 this, and this should not. Now it's more like it. Whoa, but look at what you can do. You can completely fuck up your camera with a couple of movements. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It shouldn't be possible. With a couple of camera movements, we can do this. Why are we even changing in the roll department? That's what I want to know. That's not exactly the controls that I wanted. Let me visualize this. No, roll should never be changed. Should be able to just move around like this. What about this? Also, it shouldn't affect. Even if we do this, and we do this, and then we do this. Oh, yeah. Actually, it can get fucked up like this. So we need to make sure that we're not going above specific values, right? We can only move left and right so much. Like we cannot look backwards and shit like that. So we need to introduce camera restraints. Here's where we'll do it. Minimum camera pitch. Float. I don't know what the value will be of that. We will balance it in a second. Max camera pitch. And let's just balance the pitch right now. I think it should be somewhere around wait. Yeah, the pitch is the middle one. I'm always forgetting the order of things. Somewhere between like maybe 10 degrees to 50 degrees. Yeah. So now, before we even add local rotation to our camera, we need to get our camera, get local yes, because our collision component is also a root component here. Yep. So our relative rotation, split struct pin, and we need to make sure that our pitch stays within wait, cannot we do this here? No. Okay, I was thinking that maybe I have a control here that, hey, never go above this, never go above that, blah, 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 blah. But I don't have it. Range. In range. We want to see if it is in range of minimum camera pitch, maximum camera pitch. Let's branch it, and only if it is in range, process the input. If not, just ignore it. and it should be minimum -50 from what I remember, maximum 10. That's how I balanced. The first wild guess of balancing went. Now let's introduce minimum camera yaw and max camera yaw, right? And let's just by eyeballing it, let's 40 and 40, yeah, 40 degrees one and the other way. So here -40, 40. Let's go here, but now instead of pitch it's yaw. Instead of this it's minimum camera yaw, maximum camera yaw, and let's see if this will. Oh, it's way too much, and then it doesn't process if I reach it. Shit, I cannot affect it at all. I made a logical error. Whoa, it is way too, first of all, way too much. -20 is probably the maximum we should do. And here -10, here just fucking 10. Yeah, that might be already too much. Yeah, I think I've messed up something. No, the pitch should be -50, -30. Sorry, so -50, -30, -10 to 10, yes. And I applied the wrong logic because I should process it, but only in one range, in one direction, right? So if I reached the maximum volume of either, I cannot use in range, basically, what I mean to say. What I should be doing, if the pitch value, first of all, let's see if it is negative or positive. Let's see that first. If we are adding pitch, it means, let's look once again, just to be sure, and the middle one is pitch, right? If we are adding values, we are going up. So we want to make sure that if we're adding up, we do not go over our max pitch, right? So if this is still lesser or equal than max pitch, it will be messy for a second, but you know, we will manage. If we are adding and we are still not at the max pitch, we can process this shit. If we are subtracting, then we need to see if we are, if our pitch value, that's wrong. if our pitch value is bigger or equal our minimum camera pitch, and only then we can process it. That's the basic logic. It looks messy. I will clean it up in a second. And let's not process pitch right now. And it doesn't work. And I wonder why. Why, after reaching the maximum, I cannot go the other way? Of course, because I'm not checking because I'm stupid. That's why. If I am adding, then check this. If I'm not adding, then check. Yeah, okay, now it makes sense. I made a stupid blueprint error. Oh, it just doesn't work. Once again. I messed up something. And I'm so fucking tired. What did I mess up here? If I'm trying to add pitch, and I am still below my max camera pitch, I should be able to process it. After that, any adding shouldn't work. That's correct. If I am subtracting pitch, if I'm still above my minimum camera pitch, are those values correct? Yeah. I could also, I just realized, make it so much simpler. Yeah, I think I can do it way simpler. And probably without the error. I'm just a dumbass like this. Clamp. Let's recombine this struct. Can I clamp it? I cannot clamp it like this? Okay. So let's split the struct. This is relative rotation, and now also set local. Can I just go set relative rotation? Yes, I can. Of course I can. And that one, split struct. And here's when I can clamp it. But it's weird that I cannot just clamp rotator like this. Huh. That's weird, but okay. Just clamp. I mean, roll is a roll. That shouldn't be affected. Pitch, that's the one. Clamp. So we are adding the rotation, and after that, we are clamping it. So we won't go overboard while we are still processing the input. Clamp. Just clamp it between minimum pitch, max pitch, and this is our clamped pitch. And clamp once again. I need to only clamp float. And this, and this, and this is your new rotation. Add, clamp it, great. And I made an interesting error. It looks cool, but it's not what I wanted. Ah yes, because I didn't hook this up. Yaw. Why am I affecting the roll? And I'm not what? What the fuck is going on? What am I doing wrong here? Roll shouldn't be affected at all. Pitch is pitch. And yaw is yaw. What am I doing here wrong? It is correct right now. And after I just clamp it, and in all actuality, I should just copy the pitch here too, because I'm just affecting the yaw. And for some reason, suddenly I am doing this weird motion, which I don't fucking understand. I completely don't understand. Okay, my relative yaw should go from 0 to a little bit up, a little bit down, unless it's stupid like this that those values are completely mismatched. But the order of it, I remember that there used to be something like this in Unreal. But I think it is in code, not in blueprints. I'm doing something terribly wrong here. It gets to the end of the yaw, right? Which it gets to the 50 there. And then it's just starting to grind up the wall. Huh. That's fucking weird. Why? I just don't get it. Yeah, that one is not interesting me. I just don't get it. For real. I have an idea, but it's a stupid one. To go like this. Go like this. Then go like this. Completely omit that. And let's just use the rotation that we have right now. Yeah, the rotation that we have right now. Add whatever we have in here. Let's see how it will work out. That's exactly how I wanted it to. Something with the local offset was, local rotation was not right. I don't know why, but now it works how I wanted it to from the beginning. And I can now balance it to give you a bigger degree of freedom. It still behaves a little bit weirdly. Because that's not the exact movement that I want this camera to have. Because it is rotating in relation to its parent, not to itself. It's absolutely wild to construct that in blueprints. I never really did that shit in blueprints. Yeah, because it is relative rotation for parent. Right now, if I just copied this, I would get this weird freaking movement. If I did this for pitch instead of yaw, it still wouldn't work out like I wanted it to. Right? Okay, it needs, like I said, it needs the reversal here. Or yeah, whatever. Or maybe. Yeah. Maybe I will allow to aim a little bit higher and a little bit lower. Let's see what will happen. And I feel like I should pull this camera back a bit, right? Like I feel like I should, whoa. I should just put it a little bit further back, a little bit up. That's how I should do it. Yep. It seems okay for me. Okay, now we did the easy thing. Now for the harder thing, to do the air control a little bit. Because that way we kinda need to also pass our input values for moving to the arrow, and let's figure out how do we even want to affect this a little bit. We should be able to use just a stick or WSAD. Or we should only be able to, I think, use left and right movement just to steer it a little bit to the left, to the right. What should I be doing? JD Husk W asks, what are you working on right now? I'm training myself in game design, really, in Unreal Engine. I'm doing a simple game when you are shooting bow and arrow, and I created this weird bow where you can launch yourself as a mode of transportation. And right now I'm figuring out like smaller details, how to make the control of launching yourself from an arrow a little bit better. I'm learning game design basically, like the basics of it. I've been a gameplay programmer for most of my professional life, but for all of my professional life, but I never been a game designer, so I'm trying to figure out, you know, all those details that usually are being put into the game design documentation. I'm trying to learn how to come up with those details right now. And I'm trying to right now figure out cool air control in here. So it's not the matter of implementation, it's more like what would be cool. How is your day? JD Husk W says cool. Thank you. Okay, I have a camera control a little bit down. How do I even want my player, or how do I want to move myself? Do I want to affect the trajectory super hard? Because one thing, if I'm aiming and I'm just shooting, just looking at your guy flying in the air is funny for like, I don't know, first 10 shoots or maybe even less. It is kind of funny, but then you kind of want to have some input on your character, right? Moving around. Yeah, I think just moving a little bit to the left and to the right might be the answer here. Kinda as if you're playing a golf game and you're able to nudge the golf ball just a little bit to the right or to the left. Yeah, it seems that that might be cool. JD Husk W, how is your day going, man? Whee! But I'll be honest, it is fucking funny to constantly launch yourself from anything. Oh man, the lifetime of the particle killed me off, I think. Yeah, if I was able to steer it, I would be even way more engaged with this. So, let's think about how are we steering this shit. Okay. We need to, of course, pass the inputs to the to the projectile and then affect its projectile movement, and we don't want to fight against this component, so I feel like we might end up fighting against projectile movement component, but we will see. JD Husk W says, great, working on a game similar to PT Silent Hill just for learning. Oh, so horror game. Nice, nice. Nice, it is a good genre to learn, right? What engine are you working with? Unreal, Unity, Godot, or maybe your own? How are things coming along? Unreal. Nice, nice. Unreal is good for horrors, especially if you're going for like good graphics, or you know, if you want to have lots of free marketplace assets. Yeah, Unreal is amazing for that, and all the tricks that you can do with lightning, etc. Woo! JD Husk W says, not making the exact game, but it's kind of motivated by it. I get you, I get you. It's just an inspiration. You're going your own way. That's the best way of going. Just take an inspiration and go in your own way, right? That's great, that's great. Is it first person, third person? How are you going about it? Movement input. Yeah, I'm only interested in left or right movement, so we'll be passing, from what I remember, I think X value. JD Husk W says, first person feels more scary. Yes, immersive, right? When shit pops off in front of your face. Yeah, that is very scary. Nice, nice. Nice. The Silent Hill. Man, it's been a while since I played any horror game. Do I remember correctly that Silent Hill 2 just got released, or is about to release, something like this? I need to check that out at some point. JD Husk W says, currently working on AI behavior on my cockroach. LOL. Yeah. Yeah. I get you. I get you. So like your cockroaches are a valid part of a gameplay? Like, what do they do in your game? I'm curious about the AI for the cockroach. I can imagine it can be hard, like for example, if it has to go from the floor to the wall to the ceiling and make it all work like that. It might be complicated. But it sounds cool. Is it just like a couple of singular cockroaches, or are you working on like a swarm of cockroaches? Kinda like in, what was the name of this game with the rats? Plague Tale? That you have the swarm of cockroaches or something? Okay. JD Husk W says, if it is okay with you searching on YouTube PT gameplay, and there it will show how I want the cockroaches movement to look like. Okay, I will do it on stream. Not a problem. Let me just pull up the browser window up in here. Yeah, let's go in here. Let's jump somewhere along. Do I have the highest quality? For my monitor, that will be the best quality. Lots of little details. Go to like 3rd minute. Okay, okay. Oh, I see it. Oh, damn. If I was just playing it right now, I would be so grossed out and I'd be like, oh, fuck. Oh my god. Oh my god. No. Holy shit. God damn. That is some scary ass shit. And gross. Oh, what the hell? Oh, and cockroaches on the walls. Okay, I see what you're going on for right now. And we will enter the same corridor. Yep. Okay, okay, I see it. I see it. Ooh, something showed up for a hot second. Oh. It's very, what is, how do you call it? It's not only immersive, but I just got sucked in just watching, this gameplay. I just got sucked in. I need to, watch the full walkthrough from here. So I will go to another monitor and leave it in the tab. Thanks for showing me that. It is really, what's the word that I'm searching for? That you just see a couple of seconds of it, or even a couple of minutes, and you're already sucked in, and you just kind of want to see how it goes further. Nice inspiration. So you're working on cockroaches right now, huh? JD Husk W says, it's a really good game, but sadly, it's not available anymore. Yeah, I remember that there is something going on. It was made by Kojima, right? Just before he was fired from Konami or something like this, and then this whole debacle happened. And now it's no longer available for downloading. And from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, people all over the world are they kind of want this game to happen in the full sense of things, right? As a full game. From what I remember, that was the thing. Like, people were like, holy shit, the Silent Hill is coming alive and Kojima is making it, and that was it. That was the end. And yeah, I get the inspiration right now. If you will knock it out the park, people will come clamoring for that shit. So, yep. Yep, and those cockroaches moved really, really too lifelike. So I was grossed out by it. JD HuskW says, bad spelling, lol. Don't you worry, man. I constantly misspell all of the time. When I was in school, you know, school was still beating me over the head to spell correctly. But right now I feel like I have dyslexia. Even though I don't have it, I make so many errors while spelling shit. JD HuskW says, thank you. Oh, no, not a problem. Thank you for showing me that. I never really, you know, watched the full playthrough. I only remember reading, you know, those headlines and being like, ah, shit, man, fans almost got what they wanted, right? But then the whole debacle with Konami happened. And I was like, oh man, it sucks. I like when, you know, fans of every fandom are getting what they deserve and what they want, right? And when the creators of those things are able to create this shit. For me, it's the series called The World Ends With You. It's a Japanese RPG for Nintendo DS, and I was waiting for a sequel, I don't know how many years, but so many years. And when they finally, Square Enix allowed the main guy to deliver the sequel, I was so happy. I know I won't be getting any other game, but I really wish everyone who is a fan of whatever IP, whatever genre, that they will get delivered this kind of feeling like, yes, I'm waiting for this and it is now. Or if someone steps up and do something similar, then they will also achieve success, right? JD HuskW asks, what are your experience in like game designer, programmer, etc.? Programming. I'm on the C++ side of things. In February next year it will be 10 years when I'm in game development. And programming. That's why I want to learn more about design, because I'm always being given game design docs. I play video games and I have some ideas about how things could be done in that way or other way. But what I quickly realized after writing down like shitloads of notebooks, Google Docs of ideas for video games, etc., etc., that yeah, I can come up with maybe a narrative hook or world or a character or maybe meta design, but I cannot sit down and figure out like the basic, you know, primary action. You press a button and something cool happens on the screen. I don't know how to think about that in fun terms, right? I know how to code it in C++, but what to do in order to make it fun for a player, right? And that's what I'm learning here, but my main experience is in C++ gameplay code programming. I started in Techland, the guys that made Dying Light. I worked there for 4 years, then I moved to Flying Wild Hog, worked on Evil West, and then I went to, and I'm still am, in Creepy Jar. So I went to indie development. And I work in Unreal since 2019, like professionally. What is the best way to learn C++ for game dev? I am a programmer, but not a great one. How did you learn? That's what JD HuskW asked. The best way to learn C++? That is a hard question, I'll be honest. I've been thinking a lot about that because I kinda would love to create maybe some series or tutorial for this, but I'm having hard time wrapping my head around that, because the way I learned, I went for technical university, and programming and C++ programming in general was a part of my education curriculum. So they kind of forced me to learn C++. It was not most optimal way of learning C++, I'll be honest, or just programming, because it was more education oriented, less how you should be a good programmer oriented, right? But it did gave me skills of C++ programming and general engineering. But I'm not sure if I would advise, unless you are really interested in general engineering, going to university for that. because the main problem is with learning C++ for game development that we all want to make cool shit like headshots, some cool AI programming, etc., right? But when you sit down to C++ just to learn the basics are so fucking boring to learn, like the string reversals, operational arrays, etc., etc., etc. And the road from just this, basic stuff that you need to learn in C++ in order to get to the more awesome stuff is a little bit, not inspiring. If I were to compare it to drawing, right? When you are learning how to draw, you kind of know what direction you want to see, and the road from just drawing simple shapes, drawing an apple or something like this, to drawing a full character is way, maybe not shorter, but you see the steps, and it is way easier to motivate yourself, right? With C++, it is a little bit harder to go from simple, array operations, memory allocations, etc. in C++ to coding awesome shit, right? So from my experience, learning from bottom to the top is the one that will give you the skills of C++ programming, but it is a hard one to get. What I would try right now if I was learning C++, and I already dabbled a little bit in Blueprint, I would probably create some sort of mechanic in Blueprint and then try to get into the C++ code and try to recreate that with just usage of the functions that are similar in Blueprint. That's how I would go about that. Either if you want to start learning C++ with Unreal, but it might be hard because Unreal is a super big beast. There's lots of stuff there. Yeah, as you can see, I'm conflicted about learning C++, through Unreal. So maybe starting with like those boring basics is the best. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure if C++ is the best language to start with when it comes to like programming. I maybe would start with like Python or something like that. Yeah, it was a long-winded explanation of things. I hope it made sense a little bit. But I would probably start with Python because there you can learn some programming skills without diving deep into complexities of, Unreal. And after I would do like a simple course in Python, that's where I would probably sit down to some simple Udemy course in C++. And what are you doing, in your regular day? What kind of job do you have? Or maybe you're a student or something? Maybe that way I can maybe, be of better help in giving advice how to, learn the C++ programming. But the good thing about Unreal is that you can really achieve a lot in blueprints. Like this whole prototype that I'm doing here is done 100% in blueprints because I started with C++ code, but a couple of my friends that were watching these streams, they told me, man, looking at the code on Twitch stream is so fucking boring and I don't have skills to make it not boring yet. So I decided to turn this whole project into Blueprint, and you can still achieve a lot. You can still, do a lot of character and AI scripting in order to achieve some goals. But definitely for both Blueprint scripting and C++ coding, I would search for some Udemy course. I know that there are good ones out there. Some of my friends have been using them and co-signing them. For the next stream, I can ask one of my friends that was doing this course for a link to good Udemy course that he was learning from, and I can, just put it in here. in the chat. No problemo. Okay, I wanted just to pass the left and right input to my teleport arrow. So once again, I have to use the inheritance a little bit. So my basic bow component will have another custom event, process x-axis input. And the idea is that I will actually implement it in my catapult bow component. Event process x input. That's the stuff. Once again, I only want to process it if the arrow that I launched, which is actually myself, is just a little bit of fake out. I'm just launching an arrow that has a character mesh and camera attached to it. I'm not actually launching me as a character through the air. It would be way too much involved and the results would be basically the same. And to make the camera work in that way, to zoom it out, figure out the whole TPP controls, etc., it would be way more involved than just launching the arrow that has a character mesh on it, some simple camera, and just pass a couple of inputs to it. For my dirty prototype, that's all I really need. And now my teleport arrow also needs to have event, custom event, process x-axis input. I think at least that x-axis was responsible for left and right, from what I remember. Of course, we need to x-axis value input. JD Husk W says, I am back. Nice to have you back. Were you here when I was answering your question about C++ programming, or were you away? I can repeat, no problem. I just want to make sure that, you know, that you were able to get your answer from me. X-axis value input. Yes, that's what I want here, and let's see if it actually works once again by just debug printing. If you weren't here for my answer to your question about C++ programming, what is the if I have any advice of best way to learn it, and how did I learn? I learned at university because I was going for engineering education, because truth be told, when after high school I didn't really know where to go. Yeah, you said that you learned from university, and when you forced, yeah, okay, so you heard all of that shit, yeah. So I'll be honest, I would be searching for Udemy course about C++ connected with Unreal, and I know one of my friends was using one, and he was really recommending it, and he is wishing that he would be able to pay more attention to it than he is. And I don't remember the name of the course, but for the next stream I will get the name of the course, or the link even, and I will, for sure, if you will be here, I will post it, you know, in the comment section here. Next stream will be happening the Sunday next week. I always try to stream on Sundays between 10:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Warsaw time. But I would for sure search for Udemy course, because there are a couple of good guys there that figured out how to navigate the complexities of C++ and go through Unreal, etc., etc. JD Husk W says, thank you for advice, but you said that you worked on Dying Light, right? Not in the capacity that I would love to. Yeah, I was in Techland that made Dying Light. The moment I arrived at Techland, they just launched it, and I was working on a different game with them, like a side project called Speedway Grand Prix 15. It is a sports game, a motorsports game. And then I worked on Dead Island remasters, Dead Island Remaster and Dead Island Riptide Remaster. And then I was working on still unannounced project that is an open world RPG fantasy game or something like this. And I dabbled in Dying Light 2 only in the moments where, you know, we were kind of waiting with this fantasy RPG project, when we were kind of okay, right now we send off things to be judged, right? Or there was some period where, you know, we were asked, hey, could you help us out a little bit in Dying Light 2? So that's where I helped a bit, but not in like huge factor, right? I wouldn't say that I was one of the guys that made Dying Light 2. I was, you know, just helping a little bit here and there, and just tiny fractions, right? So from what I remember, I think I received the special thanks credit there, because I only, you know, did a couple of smaller things and maybe play a build here and there of Dying Light 2. Yeah, that would be it. Oh, and we have some weird bot in here. Let me just delete this online casino bot and ban it to oblivion. Yes. And we don't have this casino bot. JD Husk W says, still very cool. Probably my dream job is working with Naughty Dogs. Oh yeah, Naughty Dog. From what I remember, I read the book. What was the name of that book? It was about game engine architecture. I wouldn't recommend reading it without knowing a little bit of C++. So I would first go for the Udemy course of C++ and Unreal, and then maybe jump into this book. Let me quickly search the name of it and drop it in the chat. Game engine architecture. Why am I saying about this? Why am I talking about this? Because from what I remember, it's been made by the guy who worked in Naughty Dog, and there are some tidbits about how they are working on their engine, on their games, what is their approach, etc., etc. So if you're interested, it might be a cool read, if I remember correctly. Yes, there is stuff about The Last of Us Part 2, how they developed gameplay software for Uncharted, etc., etc. Let me quickly drop the link to the book. Jason something. Oh, you know it. Yeah. So just for posterity's sake, if anyone would be watching a VOD on YouTube, so they would be able to look at this and see what we're talking about. Yes, Jason Gregory. Yes, it is a good book. I read it. It really gives nice overview of how this whole machinery called game engine works. It's nice. Naughty Dogs. Nice. They're making good games, right? Yeah. So are you like from the States or something, or do you want to move there to work on Naughty Dog games? What is your situation? Where are you from? And let's see if I manage to... That's not exactly... Okay, it can be this. Let me go into the first person character here, and just like I did here, let me just copy this little thing. Only if I have bow, I will be passing my inputs, and then I want to pass my inputs process x-axis input, right? And let me reference or copy the value of x-axis input. JD Husk W says, I'm currently in school in Sweden. Oh, nice! Hello! Nice. Currently in school in Sweden. Nice. So from Sweden. Nice, nice. I'm from Poland. Yeah, I think the dream of working at Naughty Dog is attainable. I remember where I read it. There was this story, but I don't remember where I read it, that there was a student that was a big fan of Naughty Dog games. And he so much wanted to get in. He was writing emails to them like, hey, what kind of skills should I acquire to be able to work at your company, etc. And they were giving him like the answers to his questions, etc. And I remember that he was kind of learning what they were telling him to learn. And their recruiter, even, I think it was in States, based in States, they gave him some interview questions right before he was going to some exam at university, etc. It was like a really sweet story. But the end result was that the guy got into the Naughty Dog, was working in Naughty Dog, and they were happy to have him on board. He was happy that they helped him to get there. There was a story like this, but I don't remember who broke it. Was the guy himself writing about it in the blog post? I don't remember, but I remember reading it when I was also in school and thinking like, yeah, it is a nice story. JD Husk W asks, do you know what is requirements to get a job there? In Naughty Dog? Not really, but I can quickly pull up Naughty Dog if they are recruiting right now. Page, because the way when I was at school, I was trying to get what kind of skills do I need to apply for internship. I was looking at just job openings and looking at it and trying to figure out what kind of software are they using. Let's pull it up here to the main window of a stream. That's how I used to assess it. Like, for example, oh, I'm a student and I would love to work at Naughty Dog. Okay, let's see. I want to work, let's say, in programming. Oh, they have one position. Let's look at it. Physics programmer. Okay. It's not something that I'm good at right now, even in professional level, but what they are needing. Physics-based system using Havoc engine. Havoc engine. Okay. And I would, try to read about Havoc engine and learn about Havoc engine, for example. I would try to create some physics-based system. Basically, I would treat this who we're looking for as a checklist of what they are searching for and what skills I should either offer or offer to learn if they have internship positions. The same here. What skills do you use? C++ programming. Okay. 3D math. Okay. Familiarity with collision detection. Okay. Those are kind of like a checklist of what is nice to have, right? But all of this is for a job. My advice would be, and that's how I got into this industry, I wasn't really searching for a job, I went for internship. I knew that I probably wouldn't pass the qualifications for becoming a junior programmer because I wanted to be a programmer, because I have no experience, right? So I was thinking I will search for internships. I will have some general skills in C++ and mathematics, right? And I will hope that I will be able to pass the interview and I will learn on the job. And that's turned out to be a correct way of getting there, because when I was starting my internship at Techland, they didn't assume that I know anything. They only required for me to know, for the programming position, some C++ and some mathematics. The rest of it, 3D mathematics. The rest of it, they assumed that I know nothing and they were willing to teach me. So lots of the stress that I had, went away, because I was like, oof, they know I know literally nothing. And they just want to see how quickly I can learn with them, right? I have a mentor, he was, helping me out and shit. And this proved to be a great way of getting in, right? So if you are still at school, I would probably look for some internships. I don't know if Naughty Dog is doing internship, but even in your country, in Sweden, there's lots of game development companies there, right? And I would look for an internship, depending on which, branch do you want to go for, like programming, game design, maybe something else. I would look for internship in that, and see also what they require for internship. And when it comes to like general programming or 3D or design, I would look for Udemy courses for 3D math and for programming, just to get this base skill set, so you will be, applicable for internship. And while you're at the internship, the only thing that you have to prove there is that you are a fast learner, that you are able to learn, putting in the work, etc., etc. They don't demand anything else. It's not like if you're an intern, they will require you to write big systems. No. Senior programmers are for that shit. They expect you to work with your lead or with your mentor and learn. That's your only responsibility there. So I would really, advise for going for internship. And we can quickly search Naughty Dog internship and see if they are doing it. My story of getting a job at Naughty Dog. Oh, okay, that's one thing. Does Naughty Dog do internships? Is there like a question? Naughty Dog internship program. Look at that. Acquiring a position in Naughty Dog internship program is generally difficult. Internships are the beginnings of one professional development, blah, 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 blah. There's nothing too much. There's nothing here, really. And there's some Reddit story. About getting in there. Whoa, it's super long. But yeah, my general advice would be to always look at the job offerings to kind of determine what kind of skills they do require. They will always write a lots of stuff, but it's more like a wish list. That's what we wish to have. Whether such candidate even exists on the market, that's another thing completely, right? So it's always a wish list of things. And if you are, just want to go into the game development, always go for internship, in my opinion. I know that there's a lot of discourse on the internet that maybe you shouldn't go for internships, etc., but I disagree. That's how I got into the job. My internship was unpaid. These days, usually internships are paid. So these days, there's even more reason to search for internship because you do get paid for that, usually, right? I was working for free, man, for like either 1 month or 3 months. I don't remember, but that was the way it was in 2015. And right now, everyone has it a little bit better. Most of the people have a little bit better with internships, and it's a less stressful way of getting in. JD Husk W says, would probably start looking in about 3 years after high school. Yeah. I'll be honest, if you are right now in high school and you're already thinking that ahead, you're already way better than me. When I was in high school, I was thinking that I would be, a rapper and a beat maker. I wasn't even thinking about video games back then, or engineering. I went for engineering university only because I was thinking, man, if this music thing won't pan out, I have to get a job myself, right? It was only later in life when I had a change of heart and thinking, what am I doing? I'm spending whole days daydreaming about working in game development and reading about this, and I'm still thinking that I will do something else. Nah, let's steer the ship in the other direction. And so if you are thinking about that, right now already, oh, my aim is Naughty Dog, oh, what skills should I acquire? I would say, you are on a good way, sir. You already have a good thinking going on there. You're already on a good way if you're already trying to, see where you should go, what skills to acquire. You're already, you know, in a good mindset. No problem, no problem. Okay, I think I hooked up this input processing here correctly. I think. Let's see if my debug print will work out in here. Print string x input value. Yep. And if I don't press anything, yep, it's working out as I wanted it to. So now my teleport arrow also have it, and it also needs to accept my input. X input value. Yeah. In regards of education and game development, there's also another thought that I had like recently, that going for, you know, aiming for getting into the game development and learning all those skills, etc., is kind of a win-win situation in my opinion, because either you will get a lot of skills and will get this internship and get some job in some company, and you'll start acquiring money doing what you want to do, right? Which is a win, one way or another, right? And if that thing don't pan out, shit, you have skills, you have such skills that you can acquire another job that will still be highly paid, and maybe even work there half-time and do game development on the side of things, right? So either way, you'll be good because you have good skills. You trained your brain to think in a very logical and, you know, mathematical way. You were able to get some hard skills, which will, you know, turn you into a good learner, etc., etc. So it is a win-win scenario, aiming for that, in my opinion. If, you know, if I had a kid and he wanted to go from game development, man, it would, you know, I would be giving all of the support, right? And I remember when I was trying to get into game development, my parents didn't understand exactly what the hell I wanted to do, right? It was like, what, games? Can't you find a better job? And I'm like, no, but it is a good job. I'm learning cool skills. So even if I don't get in there, I will still, you know, I will still be good, right, in life. And they were like, I'm not sure. And then The Witcher 3 happened in Poland, and Dying Light, and there was a big explosion in Poland of game development. It is a part of our, you know, Polish capital, right? And in the newspaper, everyone was writing about it, and suddenly my parents were like, oh, so it is a good career. And I'm like, I told you so. So I would say, you know, it is a good goal, because either way, you're golden, right? JD Has W says, but it is hard to make money in game dev industry, right? It depends, which is of course the best answer that everyone loves, right? It depends, but how to put it? It really depends where you live, it depends where you work, it depends which department you're working for, right? And what kind of experience are you having? What level of experience do you have, right? I will be the first to tell you that when I was just a junior programmer, I didn't make a lot of money. I wasn't able to even move out to live on my own, right? It wasn't good money. Like, I had other student friends at university that applied for so-called big IT, and they were earning way more money than me. That was true. But here's the kicker. Things kind of change at some point, because not only game development as an industry get way much more money, the demand for programmers, designers, etc. increased, right? So they started paying better. And I can tell you myself that I started getting paid better. And yes, of course, in so-called big IT, insurance company and big banks, they are earning way more money. But also, seeing a couple of people that work there, I wouldn't change it because I'm not starving. I also wouldn't classify myself as having bad money, right? I'm earning good. I'm really happy. It took a little bit of time to get there, but not only because of, me trying to get more experience, but also industry was getting bigger and bigger, and they started paying programmers better and better and better. So yeah, comparatively to insurance and bank positions, it is less so, but compared to other jobs, it still pays a lot, in my opinion. I know that in United States, in San Francisco or New York or something like this, the pay is considered not that great because cost of living there is humongous, right? So that's from what I heard, but I never been in United States, so I cannot confirm it or deny it. But I wouldn't say that you don't make any money in game development in industry. There are positions that are underpaid and should be paid way more, like QA, legendarily, is not getting paid the best money, right? Internships used to be completely free. Like I was, having an internship and I wasn't paid for that. Right now it is different. The industry standard is to pay interns right now, and people are getting paid better, at least in Europe, from what I heard. Of course, right now the headlines are that so many companies are laying off people left and right. There are online counters about how big companies like Microsoft, Sony, etc. are firing people. But the thing is, yes, big super AAA companies like Microsoft, Sony, Ubisoft are getting kicked in the ass by some bad management decisions and releasing some, games that didn't make money, or they are investing in some other ventures and because of that they are firing people. But at the same time, new companies are being formed. At the same time, other companies do have success. I know that the theme right now in the news cycle is the general pessimism in regards to overall economy, but after each period of, economical lull comes growth, because people are getting fired and then they oftentimes go away and form their own companies, create games. Those games are free to be creative way more, and sometimes those games are making good money, and then these people are hiring, right? So I would say it's a cycle. Right now we are in the cycle where big developers are, like Microsoft, etc., are firing people because of many different reasons, but then they will be hiring again, right? So no, I would say right now that it is possible to make good money in game dev industry. It is possible to do that, depending on where you live, which company you are working for, level of experience, but at some point you are able to, feel good about yourself. It is definitely possible. The industry is literally so big right now that you are able to find possibilities. Right now, job market is what it is, but it won't be like that forever. And since you said that you are in high school and you're looking for, searching for internship 3 years later down the line, I'm sure that, the positions will be opening up. JD Husk W says, that's why Naughty Dog is great. Never released a bad game. yeah, all of their games are critical hits. And even when the remaster happens and people are making fun that, yeah, the remaster is happening, that it's not supposed to happen, they are also selling, right? And from what I heard, it is their way of training new people, which I think is kind of genius, that, you know, okay, we need to hire new people, right? And we want to get them up to speed with our technology, with the way we are doing things. And you have two ways of doing it. The way of long process of, let's say, for example, they are working on a new game, they hired new people, and it will take a longer time to get them up to speed while working on a new game. Or you can start working on a remaster, which is a little bit simpler. I worked on a remaster. And let me tell you, it is a fun work. Like, I know people online are sometimes hating on remaster. Oh, it's an asset swap, etc. No, it isn't. I worked on Dead Island Remaster, and it's not really like that. And I did learn a shit ton during the time of working on Remaster. And it is a good way of taking someone who is either an intern or a junior position and getting them up to speed with technology or how things are being done. One anecdote that I have is, for example, one of the things that we had to do in the Dead Island remasters was we had Dead Island base game and Dead Island Riptide. And because they were released some time apart from themselves, their UI and user experience was a little bit different in places. And one of the goals was to unify all of that, right? So the UI for base game and for the Riptide, the second game, will be so unified that if you jump from one game to the other, you won't really feel the difference, right? And because of that, certain, for example, minigames weren't really aligned with each other. And one of my tasks was, for example, there was a minigame of bashing through the closed door. And it was working all right on gamepad. But for mouse and keyboard, it was kind of broken because it worked differently in one game and on the other game. And I had to come up with a way how to correctly visualize it, what input would be taken into this thing. And me being a junior programmer, it was a great task for me how to interact with the game engine that was there and how to develop it, how to ask for a review of my idea, etc., etc. And in the end, it got in to this thing. You might be thinking that, oh, it's just a small thing, but it's a great to learn on small things on the remaster when the whole game is done in front of you and you are, you know, surgically applying, you know, smaller things here and there when it is needed, right? So I think their way of teaching new people how to work at Naughty Dog by remastering games, it's goddamn genius. I'll be honest, if I was a junior programmer right now joining any company and they were doing a remaster, I would be, you know, raising my hand that I want to work at it. No better way of less stressful learning how the given technology works, how work with that team, what are the design concerns for that team, etc., etc. It's an amazing way of learning. I really, you know, think that it is a genius thing that they do. And after remaster is done, you have lots of people in your company right now that know the technology, know the design sensibilities, and they are primed to work on a new game. And for my stupid game here that I'm, you know, just using to learn how to be a better designer, because yeah, programming, but if I want to make any game ever in future on my own as a singular person, I need to learn how to do design. So to get into this once again, my x-axis input is working on bow component. Now I need to pass my my input to my projectile. So I will do it here, of course. And no, first of all, here. And here I need to go add process x-axis input. Let's pass this value along. Wrong goddamn shortcut. Yeah, that's how I wanted to do it. Align this stuff. And now let's debug print if our arrow that is actually ourselves, but not really, is working out. Print string before I apply even any logic to it. I just want to see if it is working out. X-axis process. Bow component, teleport arrow, catapult bow component. Yeah, I think it should work out. Let's try this. Yep, it is working out. So now to come up with the cool logic, hacky, prototypey, but cool logic how to move my arrow around. And how do I want to move it around? I just want to add location offset, right? Add actor local offset. So I'm in my local space, so that space. Actually, right now I'm not sure if it is x-axis or y-axis that I should have passed along, but we will see in a second. And positive values should move me to the right. Negative should me move to the left. Let's see if it will be possible. So I should just basically input this into here, maybe multiply it a little bit. Yeah, let's multiply this value by, I don't know, 50. I want to see a big change in order to evaluate if even this stuff is working right now. Nope, I have, of course. Oh, that's the regular thing in game development. You make one tiny mistake that is very stupid and funny. But as you can see, 10 years in and you're still making silly mistakes. And I don't know a single person that wouldn't make silly mistakes. I know that there are lots of people online that are, you know, like puffing their chest and be like, oh, I'm an expert programmer or a designer, I never make mistakes. That's all bullshit. Everyone makes mistakes. I wouldn't even want to talk to a person that would be like, yeah, my code is ideal. Like, nah, you're just being super, you know, trying to be full of ego. And you are trying to cure your self-consciousness. Let's just all admit that we are making silly mistakes. It's a regular thing. So what I did wrong here? JD asks, W says real. Yep, we all make silly mistakes, literally. Sometimes whole build can get broken because, you know, your lead or maybe someone even higher up the chain of command wanted to type in some value, they typed it with the negative value and the whole build breaks, right? It happens, it just happens. It's not a big thing. And I was supposed to pass in, not the X value, it was supposed to be the y-axis volume, and now I should rename all of those events. Okay, let's do this. I mean, I made a mistake, I need to correct it, and I want to do it cleanly. Y-axis value input, of course, and that means that here I need to refresh my node because it won't compile otherwise. Because I changed the name of the parameter. And let's get in here, also change the name. And change the name here. Y input value. Okay, this will compile, but I just broke this. I need to refresh my node. Connect it once again. And that's it. JD has W asks, how do you make the float line well structured? My tip is that first of all, you can use reroute nodes. These are those little dots, and if we will take, for example, I need to refresh this node as well. If I want to make it look this pretty, I am just, for example, taking my line from here, and either I can type reroute, and it just creates this node, or another thing, while you are dragging the line from here, without letting go of your left mouse button, you are pressing R, and it automatically inputs your reroute. And the cool thing, another cool thing here is that if I do a reroute here, another reroute here, here, and here, and I want to make them all align, I can just select all of them with my shift held, right? Oh, too much. And press Q on my keyboard, and they will align, and then I can just move them where I want, right? So that's how you do a reroute. And if I already have like some reroutes here, I can just take my line from a reroute, once again with R, just pressing R, another reroute happen, I can just hook it up, and to make it all pretty, select all of those reroutes, click Q on my keyboard, and they are perfectly aligned. I think also right-clicking and selecting alignment, straighten connection also straightens it out. But yeah, drag a line from here and then type reroute, or press R. JD HuskW asks, how to move an already existed reroute? You just select it, and you can just move it around. And yeah, and that's it. You can just take this, move it around, freely nilly-willy. JD HuskW says, oh, I'm stupid, lol. Nah, we all make those mistakes. You know what? My friend 2 streams ago taught me about something. 10 years in game development almost, right? 4 years in professional Unreal. And I haven't learned that you can put branch in Blueprint way easier than I did it. I used to go like, okay, right click, type in branch, and it appears. And my friend on stream said, you know that you can just hold B and press left mouse button and it just appears, right? And I'm like, wait a second. Oh my god! 4 years not knowing about this. And you know what I did? Next day, it was Sunday, so on Monday, I went to my coding friends, to my colleagues, and I told them, last stream I learned a tidbit from my friend. Did you know that you can just hold B, press left mouse button, and it will show up a branch? And people way more experienced than me look at it and they were like, I didn't know it existed. Oh my god, we are so stupid. People literally 15, 20 years in game development. So no, you're not stupid. We all just always, everyone has some blind spot. Everyone, you know, always not know one small feature here, etc., etc. So don't beat yourself up about it. We all do all this shit. Literally, people 20 years in game development, they were like, oh my god, there's this shortcut. Wow, it's so amazing. How many times, another thing that I and my fellow programmers, game designers, and artists, everyone in game development can relate to it. What happens constantly? You have an error, right? And you're debugging it. Half an hour passes, hour passes, 2 hour passes. And you're like, oh my God, I am so dumb. Whole day passes and you're like, I literally should quit. My brain doesn't work, right? Comes next day and you're like, fuck it. I will just, jump on a call with one of my colleagues. Maybe the method of a rubber ducky debugging, which is explaining to someone what you did, will be helpful, right? You're showing them code or blueprint and you talk to them like, literally, none of my functionality works. I don't know what is happening. I'm missing something. And let's say, for example, they are looking at it, and in 1 second, they are telling you, but you have disconnected nodes here. So that's why none of your further functions are working. And you're grabbing your head and a face palm. And you're like, fuck, I wasted 8 hours yesterday for one missing link that I just didn't register. And that shit happens all the time also to everyone. The amount of times that I called someone with problem and they resolved it in 2 seconds. The amount of time that I was being called like, hey, I cannot wrap my head around this. Could you help me out? Okay. Hey, you're missing a link, or hey, you made a typo. All the goddamn time. It just happens. There was this story, but which game was it connected to? Where, goddamn, I'm missing out. There was a game where AI was I think it might have been one of the Alien IP games where the AI was broken completely and everyone was reviewing it so badly. But then some modder looking through scripts that were available realized, hey, the decimal point is put in wrong place or some other like typo mistake. He fixed this typo mistake and suddenly all of the AI in the game started working correctly. And it was a shipped game, man. This shit happens constantly. Although it shouldn't be released in that state. It should have, be fixed, right? But it just happens, man. It just happens. And that happened to me right now. I just have input the wrong value. And I was passing the wrong controller value. I should have been passing Y value. And right now, I think I'm passing the correct value. It is y-axis. And on my projectile, yeah, let's see that. It's still something wrong. What the hell? Ah, yes, of course. Because I also connected it badly here. Delta location Y. Whee! And yeah, we are moving left and right. Maybe a little too much for my taste when it comes to air control. But whatever. We have that mechanic on the lockdown. Okay. We have that mechanic on the lockdown. Okay, we'll be able to correct our... Oh, it is way too much. If I'm aiming for a little bit closer, I am moving way too much left and right. Let's aim for this ball far there. It is a little bit too much. Yeah, I can steer it so much. Or maybe it is what I want. Nah, but the goal of the game is to correct the aim with my laser pointer and launch myself from here and maybe do a small correction. So I think I'm doing too much of it right now. It should be more like 5 units per input tick. Because it should be more about correction. Decisions. I don't think I will be able to balance it yet. I don't think I will be able to balance it yet without actual sort of level where I will be jumping from one challenge point to another with that launching mechanic. Yeah, I'm not, without the context, I'm not able to balance it right now. So I'm not able to make a decision, should I increase it or not. But I should create a variable for that and call it. The hardest thing in game development is coming up with the proper variable names. It honestly takes way more time than coming up with any algorithm, etc. Because badly named variable, oh my god, it is such a pain in the ass, so quick. Especially in the collaborative work when you are either reading someone's code or script or they are reading yours and they are like, what the hell is this variable? What does it connect to? You explain them and they're like, this name doesn't invoke any of those connotations. I remember one time I had my friend visiting me, but I still had like an hour or so of work to do, and I told them, yeah, we can meet up, but you know, you'll have to sit in the other room or sit in the same room sipping tea or coffee or whatever, but I will have to finish my work, right? And she was like, okay, no problem, I got stuff to do on my own. I'll just, arrive at your house and wait for an hour and, we will go for some food or something later, right? And she was looking at me working, and at some point, literally, I was just looking in the screen for like 10 minutes doing nothing. And she was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, you won't believe, but I'm just thinking about the name for a variable, for a thing. And she was like, and is that hard? And I'm like, it's way harder than debugging math problems. And she was like, really? Naming things is hard? And I'm like, yes. And the flashbacks of badly named variables from the past that led me down the bad road of debugging or creating my own functionality started appearing in front of my eyes, and I looked like the dog from that GIF. Hours of debugging of bad code because, or some errors because of bad name that wasn't indicative of what it is doing. So R control Y axis multiplier. I think that is the descriptive name. R control Y axis multiplier. I will remember that it is connected to R control, yes. And that is the variable that I will be balancing later, when I will have more of a level in context. Okay, so I set out today to do a little bit of camera control and a little bit of correction, and I have it. Once more context will be added in, I will be able to do more of that. So let's get back to my shooting range. Did I want to do something else with this launching mechanic? No. At least not yet. I know that there is an error still there that waits for me to be fixed, that I need to turn off basically the moment I launch my character arrow. I need to turn off not only collisions on my character, or basically invoke the God mode on it so nothing can kill me, and when I teleport my character to the place that the arrow landed, I need to turn off the God mode, because right now if I would have enemies and I launched that arrow, they would be able to kill me. Even though I'm not visible there, they would be able to target me, etc. So that stuff is something that I have to remember to implement later, because it will introduce a bug. And also to not process the input as they are, because I might walk off the ledge while I'm correcting my arrow shoot. Yeah, those are the things that I will have to do later, but right now let me get back to my regular bow, which doesn't look like a bow, of course, because I'm funny like that. Yeah, let's do it like this right now. I need to still implement swapping of the bows. Which one is it? Ah, it's the bouncy arrow. Okay, so right now I have bouncy arrow, I have this prototype of an enemy, I have those things to collect. I have some physics error there, but I will be fighting against them later. I have bouncy arrow that I can shoot at things like this. And I have other arrow types that I can just swap out here. I have shark arrow that creates a shark that will jump out. Ah! I kind of missed the guy. It's not possible to kill this guy with that, but it is possible to. This needs some more work in order to properly aim. Like, I should see where the arrow will, when my shark will jump out of the ground. It's a breakable wall. Yee. Okay, and other arrow is mushroom arrow, inspired by Mario. When I shoot at things, they are getting bigger, and once they get too big, they will explode. Bang, bang, bam. This is so freaking stupid. Let's charge the arrow. Woo! It explodes. Okay. So I have that. I have bouncy arrow, shark arrow, teleport arrow, and my arrow, which is just a regular arrow. Yep. So, what should we do next? What time is it? Oh shit, I should be finishing soon, because today I'm unfortunately a little bit sick. I'm on my last day of antibiotics. Oh my god, my voice changed after drinking. What the hell? So I'm already kinda feeling as if I could just lay down and instantly go to sleep. I got some bacterial throat infection last week. Not a nice thing. I remember when I was a kid, like in elementary school, I liked being sick because that meant I could stay in-house and play video games all day. Now when I'm an adult and I'm sick, I don't like it as much because I'm not at work. That's the first thing. So I'm missing out. And the other thing is I don't have strength to play video games all day. I'm just laying down and, you know, feeling sick as shit. I don't like that. I hate being sick. Okay. Okay, so let's get back to our master plan. Because I have a master plan for my learning of design. When I had 4 phases: MVP, toy making, sequence making, and scenario making. MVP I passed. It is the phase where I basically decide if my basic primary action interaction is fun. Is it fun to shoot in the air, at the wall, at stationary target, and at moving target from various distances? Right now it feels fun. I balanced it. Right now I'm in toy making phase when I'm creating toys, put them in the toy box and create as much as I can of them. And ask myself constantly question, do I have enough toys to create a sequence? And I don't have enough toys to create a sequence right now. And I think that's something that we will be doing on the next stream, because right now I have a collectible, the goal of the game. You need to collect all of these golden stars, spheres, whatever, that when you shoot at them, they should explode with the physics, like this, like this. I have some bug here that for some reason the more time passes, the more fractured they are. Get the way. I don't know why. I literally learned the chaos fracturing like 2 streams ago or 3 streams ago. And I have some weird error in there. I don't know what it is, so I need to fix that bug. That's how it's supposed to go. And this arrow is supposed not to be visible after shooting that. So 2 bugs for the price of 1. So I have a goal, collecting all this stuff. I'm collecting it by destroying it, because that's always fun. I need to fix the doors so they will open up and fracture once I shoot them. I have bouncy arrow, I have shark arrow, I have teleporting arrow, and arrow. I need more things to shoot at. Not only enemies, but like a puzzle or something to solve in order to get to this thing. So I think next phase of toy making will be creating more toys that my arrow can interact with and do some cool mechanism. In order, for example, this wall could be broken by some big swing with the boulder attached to it, and I need to make the swing so far that it will destroy the wall, and behind this wall will be the star to collect some. Whoa, that's a nice bug. Physics bug. That's great. Yeah. That's what is happening right now. That's what will happen on the next stream. Whew. Yeah, because the sickness right now is kicking my butt, I'll be honest. So I think I will be ending this stream today. A little bit shorter than I wanted it to, but I'm starting to feel really unwell a little bit. Next Sunday I know that it will be better. I'm trying to stream every Sunday 10:30 a.m. 2:30 p.m. Warsaw time, which I think it might be the same as Swedish time, or maybe 1 hour difference from what I remember, but I think it is the same. And for the next stream I will for sure get the link to the Udemy course for C++ and Unreal that my friend is doing for you, JD Husk W. And that's one thing that I will be posting here. And the other thing, I will try to solve this physics bug with my star, and we will try to craft some sequences and craft toys for sequences, etc., etc. Toy making. Learning how to make those interactions fun, because right now I have a couple of shoots that on their own are cool, thing to collect, and nothing else. So I need to learn and come up with some fun toys to engage with those couple of shoots that I have. No more creating new arrow types, create how to interact with the world with arrows that I have already and how to make it fun. That's the goal for the next stream. And the stream after that, so 2 weeks from now, I will try to sit down to some PCG, procedural content generation in Unreal. I had some professional experience with it with the project that we are working on with CreepyJar right now. And in the 5.5, there are a couple of new nodes there. So I'm thinking about doing a little deep dive on PCG there, coming up with some cool scene or something. And trying out those new nodes and do something cool with it, gameplay-wise. Or just art-wise or whatever. Yeah. So next stream, more toy box experimentations and the link to the C++ Unreal Udemy course from my friend. And toy making. Much more toy making in Unreal. Yep, that will be it. So I think that's me for now. Have a good day. I hope you have a nice chilling Sunday. I hope I will get better and get healthier. And see you guys on the next Angry Joe show. No. See you guys next Sunday. Hope you have a good end of the weekend. Bye bye.